Hey there friends, how's it going? I am MisterBo, and boy do we have a lot of Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League stuff to talk about in this video, thanks to a brand new image that is surfaced online, giving us an idea of what this game may actually be about and how it plays, as well as how it may have been internally delayed and was probably supposed to launch the end of this year. So this all originated from Matt over on Twitter, who posted the image out saying he could finally talk about it. It showed a timeline of the Crash 4 development as well as Wumpa League development. We then saw people like Wumpa Jam back this up, even Liam Robertson, as well as Canadian Guy A, who said he's starting to see this float around and he's known about it for a while. Now apparently this image has been up for about 4 months now, and it's been on the portfolio page of a Toys for Bob employee. Now usually when it comes to developers sharing their work that they did on a game, whether that's concept art or just 3D models or anything like that, stuff you see on sites like ArtStation or just their portfolio, they usually have to have a green light to post it up. When Crash Bandicoot 4 originally launched, we didn't really see much concept art until around 6 months after the release, when everyone had kind of been given the green light to post their stuff online. And even then, not everything was greenlit. Now since this image has started making its way around Twitter, it has since been removed from the original source. Which brings up the question of maybe this was uploaded by mistake and it wasn't supposed to be put up on this person's website. But you'll notice with the image here, there's a lot of blurry text. However, another user on Twitter called Husky managed to basically go in and just change the URL that this page was found on from blurry text to non-blurry, and well, here we go. This is the non-blurry version of this page. But let's dive into this image and break it down, because again, there's a lot of interesting stuff here, and we didn't need any more confirmation that Wumpa League is a thing, but this certainly gives it to us. Now before we dive into the image, it is worth noting, take everything with a grain of salt. Things in development change. All of the things that we could be talking about in this video might not even be in the full game, but I do think there is some stuff we can glean from what we see here. Obviously, there was a pandemic going on and they had to move to a work from home structure, and we also had problems with Call of Duty, which we'll dive into in a bit, which may have also affected this. So before we head to the timeline, let's take a look at these milestone cards that we can see. For instance, in October of 2019, they had the milestone of getting the engine boss battle kind of in a place where they could do an art pass completion. They had the design of Wasteland 2, and they also had a bunch of other levels that could currently be played. We can then see in September they had more milestones, and we see the word beginning with Q, which is Quantum, which is the code name for Crash Bandicoot 4. And then underneath that we see the name Lava, which is the code name for Wumpa League. Underneath the word Lava, it does look like it maybe says multiplayer. We can also see some icons here which are very familiar if you've been keeping up with all the Wumpa League information of the blue and the orange swirl. That seems to have changed to more blue and a red swirl as of the recent teases that we got on the anniversary. We obviously also have the Wumpa fruit, as well as a banana and a watermelon, which links back to the audio that was found in the game of collecting different fruits in an arena and scoring them at your own base. I believe it maybe even did mention bananas and watermelons, I can't really remember. But all this stuff is starting to come together and give us a better picture of what Wumpa League may be, though again, things in development change, and it might not resemble anything we're talking about in this video anymore. Now the piece of text underneath Lava says we are running gathering analytic fee. Most likely we are running a test gathering analytics for feedback. We can then move over into the January 2020 slide here, and for Lava it says preparing us to migrate into production, remaining content and features require prototyping, remaining questions and or blockers preventing us from moving to production. So it seems like only in January did they really start kicking up production in Lava, but again, this may not be accurate, things may have changed. It could even be that these are literally just slides and the text put into them aren't relevant to what was happening around that time, because we have not only this milestone page, but we also have this one again for January 2020, and it is the same text. However, from there we can then move into the timeline, which gives us a clearer picture of what Wumpa League may be. So we're going to ignore the quantum timeline there because we already know about Crash 4, we've played it. The only real major change here is that it looks like that the release date slipped from September to October, probably due to the pandemic and them having to switch from a work from home environment. But it seems like everything else went to plan because again, we played Crash 4. So going back to Wumpa League, the first thing we have on this timeline is of August and September in 2019, and it says MP horizontal slice 3, maybe 5 heroes, 1 map, and what I think maybe says free to play meta, though it is pretty hard to make out because this is quite poor quality. An MP horizontal slice, if you're not aware of what a horizontal slice is, or a vertical slice, well, a vertical slice is what you see at things like E3 when you have a gameplay demo. It's a polished version of the game, but just a section that they make for showing it off. However, a horizontal slice is the full game, but basically just put together in a very quick way. Probably no textures, character models, anything like that. It's basically a prototype to show off the idea. So in 2019, in around August, September, they were supposed to have this horizontal slice basically done. We then move into November, and we assume that the horizontal slice did well and people enjoyed it, and they kept developing it. Because in November, they had the milestone of 1 new map, again, a set number of heroes, adding polish, feedback, and what looks like another 1 hero added into the game. Then in December, plus 2 more heroes. We then move into 2020, and in February they had 3 maps in a design stage. Then in April they had 4 more heroes and 4 more maps, though we can't really make out what it says underneath that. Then in June they had a vertical slice. This may have been to line up with, say, E3 to show this game off, but that would have been the more polished version of the game where you'd have character models and textures and you'd be able to play this game close to what it might be like when it releases. Then in August, we see an additional 4 heroes, and between August and October, additional maps, and then during September and October, a loot system. Moving on through November, December, analytical data, as well as live environment. That could mean a couple of things: seeing what this game plays like in a live environment, where you're getting people to test it, or maybe creating a live environment, maybe similar to, say, something like Warzone. Then in 2021, from January to April, they would have had a closed alpha with core progression, testing full meta and functional. April to May, region tests. Then in June to July, a closed beta with a focus on balance, 16 heroes playable and what looks to be 12 maps. And then in August, an open beta with meta testing with an expected launch date of September to October for PlayStation and Xbox. Now obviously, September and October 2021 have been and gone, and well, we don't have a launch for this. So it's clear, obviously, things have been delayed, things have moved around. The structure of the game may be completely different to what we had originally heard. We had heard rumblings that maybe things had been cancelled, things had been scrapped, but now I think we know things are back on the table because of all the teasers that happened on the 9th of September and the fact that we got the new logo in the PlayStation showcase as well. There is 100% something coming, but we don't really know what it looks like at this point. So let's go into a little bit more depth of some of these things. It's a hero-based game, likely pulling in all the characters we saw in Crash Bandicoot 4. This says 16 heroes. From my count, there's only around 10 characters in Crash Bandicoot 4. Crash, Coco, Cortex, Torna, Dingodile, Ripperoo, Embryo, Engine, Tropy, Female Tropy. I guess you could maybe throw in Oxide in that as well. We could see characters like the Catbat character that we've heard rumored about for some time, and maybe even a character like Nina Cortex. 12 maps, we assume these are small kind of arenas, your kind of traditional maybe multiplayer map, where you're all going to be running around collecting fruit. We see there is supposed to be some sort of loot system in this game. Maybe that's as you level up, you earn new skins and things like that, or there might be a loot system when you're actually in a match playing. There's also a lot of reference to balance and meta testing, which makes me believe that each of these heroes, each of these characters that you pick, maybe have some sort of different ability that is unique to them. The closest example here would be something like Overwatch. Maybe you have attack characters, defense characters, support characters, and they need to make sure that maybe one character wasn't super OP compared to other characters. Again, this is all speculation, but probably a big question you have is, why did this get delayed? And again, there's a couple of reasons we may have seen a delay with this. The first, as I mentioned, switching to a work from home environment really slows down development, especially when you're maybe creating a multiplayer game. Things that you might be able to do in, say, a couple of hours, like maybe you've got some sort of question, you can get up from your seat, walk across the office and ask someone. When you're working from home, you've got to make sure you're scheduling a meeting, making sure that person's free. Things like that can take an extremely longer amount of time than it normally would. Obviously, if you're making a multiplayer game, you've got to make sure that your network and infrastructure is allowing you to test this thing out. Another scenario is what they had in development just wasn't working and they scrapped a load of it. everything we're talking about in this video could turn out not to be in the final game. We think we have a kind of good understanding of what Wumpa League might be, thanks to all the leaks and rumors, but there is the off chance when we finally see Wumpa League, it catches everybody off guard and it's nothing like we kind of expected it to be from what we've heard. And then on top of that comes the big one, Call of Duty. Call of Duty, we've heard rumblings, hasn't been in a great state, especially with Cold War and possibly even Vanguard, and it wouldn't surprise me if Activision perhaps put this project on hold so that Toys for Bob could help push Cold War's content out the door, maybe help with the brand new Warzone map which is coming out at the end of the year, or just Vanguard in general. We've seen this with EA. They took the Dragon Age team and they put them on the Anthem team to help push that game out the door. And that team may have only just started getting back onto whatever Wumpa League is. We know Vanguard is releasing later this week, so maybe they're starting to finally get back into full production with Wumpa League, and now they're trying to get that out the door. Again, this is all speculation, but it isn't out of the realm of possibility. In fact, I think this is most likely what happened. Remember when we heard the news that Toys for Bob were coming on to help with Warzone? So where does all this bring us to? Well, Wumpa League is still a thing. They wouldn't again be doing all this teasing, and the Wumpa Fruit Pinatas are still going out. Wumpa Lewis just received one, and I believe he might actually be the only person in the UK who's actually gotten one of these things, but according to a couple of people, apparently his was the 25th one. So it'll be interesting to see if we get any more beyond 25, or if they're going to stop at 25. Because of course it's Crash's 25th anniversary. So for now it's all steam ahead until the Game Awards on December 9th, where I think it's most likely we'll get the reveal, at least some teaser or acknowledgement that this is a real game. There is a chance they could shadow drop this like they did with Warzone, that's been very successful, but I think it's more likely we could either see a beta release maybe before the end of the year or early next year, and then we see the full release maybe around May or June. So yeah, that wraps up all the brand new information we have. Again, take all of this with a grain of salt. Most of it is just kind of speculation. I'd love to know what you guys think in the comments below. What do you think about this timeline? Do you agree with me that it probably got delayed because of work from home as well as Call of Duty taking precedent with Activision? And if these things turn out to be true, what do you think about heroes and certain maps and how this game is looking to be turning out? Of course, as soon as we hear anything more about Crash Bandicoot Wumpa League, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date. If you did enjoy this video, then click that like button, and if you're not already, subscribe for more gaming content and coverage. You can follow me over on Twitter @IamMisterBo, and you can join our Discord server, a link to that in the description. Apart from all that though, cheers for watching and for hanging out with me, I do super appreciate it, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.